Today's subject is SuperOffice, OfficeQuote, and we're linking it for our demonstration to Pegasus Opera. OfficeQuote is a tool which is produced and marketed by Synergy Technology, which allows you to do adaptive, creative, and informative quotations, linking data between your CRM system and your accounting system. Working with systems such as Pegasus Opera, Sage 50, 200, Xero, and other notable accounting systems. What I'm going to do today is give a brief overview for Find Out More Friday to show some of the sort of simple functionality and how it connects the systems together. What we find when talking to customers is a major want or a requirement in business today is to make sure that we have live data. There are lots of quoting systems out there. There are lots of CRM systems. There are lots of ERP systems. But linking them together so that you get the flow of data between them is absolutely critical. So if I'm doing a quote, I want to see my live stock figures. I want to know what I've got in stock that I can sell. If somebody changes the description of a product, again, I need to make sure that my quoting system, my accounting, ERP, and stock control systems are all in sync. We've achieved this using OfficeQuote. OfficeQuote allows us to make sure that the data that we're working on is live, the information is informative and up to date. So without further ado, I'm going to use SuperOffice CRM for this demonstration, which is one of our CRM solutions that we have in the market. I've picked a customer account here, which is FR Buttons and Architects. They're based in Blackpool. All of this data, of course, is fictitious. And I'm selecting a gentleman called James Albert, and I'm going to create a quote for him. In creating a quote, what I'm doing is linking the data between Pegasus Opera and SuperOffice for this example, and my links are live. So if I pick a stock item, that's retrieving it from the accounting system with the live stock information. So let me step through the screen and show you how this all sort of glues together. I have my quotation screen up. It's come through, it's an active quote. We have a master-child concept within OfficeQuote, which allows us to specify if we're quoting the same potential order to several people. This might be subcontractors, it might be something in the building industry where I'm quoting to 3 contractors for the same job. What I don't want to do is create what we call double bubbling, where if I quote 3 contractors £100,000 each, I don't want £300,000 in my sales pipeline. So we built in the functionality to have a master quote and a child quote. You can only have one master quote when you're quoting for a contract, which means that pipeline management is made easy. The quote number is automatically assigned. We have an order number if we turn this into an order later. We have the customer's account number. All of this is coming through from CRM. We have today's date. So I might want to change the date to quote historically for yesterday or for tomorrow. We have the company name, we have the contact, we have a project. So in SuperOffice CRM, we have the concept of projects. So we can create a project and link it to a project, or we can link it to a sale. If we haven't got those projects in place, we can create new or search for an existing one. Okay, so down at the bottom here, we have the invoice to address. We also have the ability to type in manually the deliver to address. This allows us very easily to pick a one-off address, or if we're using an accounting system such as Opera, Xero, where we store delivery addresses, we could bring those up. It brings through the sales type. Is this a sale? And everybody's system, of course, is set up differently. Ours is set up so sale to a new customer or existing, or a cross-sell to an existing, or a telesales sale. What's the email address that we might want to send a confirmation to? The phone number. Who's the contact? We already picked the contact before we went in, but we could pick other contacts if we wanted. What's the stage of the sale? Are we at proposal stage, first meeting? All of these are user definable lists. We also have a probability, And we have the customer reference. So if the customer's given us a particular project reference, a particular plan reference, we can put that in there. We have a zero value at present. We don't have any discounts, and we have our document button. So all this will make sense in a moment. So I'm going to step over to lines. So for anybody who's used Pegasus Opera, and I'll show you both Opera and SuperOffice for this, but this runs through all of the accounting suites that we integrate with. You'll know one of our stock items, and I'm going to pick CMAT 044. That searches for the product, and it brings up that we have free stock of 434. So you can see I've got a live stock link. If I just switch over to Opera now, we can see here, if we bring up CMAT 44, okay, we see in stock 444. We see a projected stock because we have some on order and we have some allocated, but my actual free stock is 444. So what I've done there very clearly is it's 434 because, and to be specific, it's taking into account the 10 that are allocated. So 444 less the 10. So it's showing me what I can sell. So the physical free stock less anything that's allocated to other orders. So it's asking me quantity. How many do I want to sell? So in this particular occasion, I'm going to put 10. It brings through the customer's specific pricing. Now, this is really, really important. It's not bringing through a retail price. If in the accounting system, we've specified that the customer gets a quantity break, gets a discount level, gets anything to make a specific price for this customer for this particular stock line, that's what it's showing me. So it's showing me that I've got a sell price of £12 for this particular customer. I could, if I wanted, introduce an additional discount. Hopefully we're not going to do that because we've already got those in place in the accounting system. But this gives me functionality both at line level and at quote level to be able to give discounts. We have a great facility here with the padlock. The padlock, should I give an additional discount, and let's say I want to give this customer an extra 2.5%, I can lock that so that this line, the CMAT small, that I've quoted at £12 less 2.5% discount, that's locked, which means if I give an overall discount on the quote, it will not discount this line because I've locked this line into the discount that I have already allocated here. That's really, really powerful. Very few systems do it. I have a calculated shortfall. So if I was selling 500, it will calculate what my shortfall is for delivery. It will show me the cost price. It will show me my markup. It will show me my markup percentage. Show me the overall value, the VAT, and if it's what my unit of measure is, pallet, box, single line, etc. It will also at the bottom show that these lines are allowed a land discount. This is being controlled by the accounting system. Are they allowed an overall discount? And are they allowed a settlement discount? So what I'll do now is save that. This then allows me to now search for the next product. So this time, instead of typing in the product number, I'm just going to type in a part of the product number. So I'm just going to type in CMAT. The system now is going to go away and it's going to show me all the stock items with CMAT in. I can search by the product code and the description. I can see my free stock and I can see my units. So this time I'm going to sell some large car mats. I've got 282 free. The customer in this particular case wants 4. These are coming up at £14. There is an overall discount in the accounting system of 9.6% on this for this particular client. I'm not going to give that in this occasion. I'm going to give them 0. Okay, and I'm going to save that. Once I've added all the lines that I want, I can come back over to here and I can see the 2 items I've put on the quote, if there's any shortfalls, the values, the discounts given, etc. One of the very powerful functions, and this has been driven, as with all of our software design, by our customers wanting to enhance what they have, and by us taking that feedback and adapting our systems. Traditionally, quoting systems just allow me to put lines in and finished. For us, that's not powerful enough. So we've added in functions, for instance, like the insert. So we can go back to a quote, we can insert things like a line, a heading. We can move up and move down. So I might take the large element here, and I want to move up. So I want to change the order. I might want to put a blank line in. I might want to subtotal. So there's lots of controls we have here. Some of our clients in different industries have large quotes that might take, I think the biggest I've ever seen is something like 60 pages, where it's an architectural company which is quoting fit out, and they fit out by room, by floor, by building. So they need the ability to be able to put every single reference to all of the architect's plans in, and subtotal by room, and subtotal by floor, and subtotal by building. So this allows us to be very, very flexible with that. At the bottom here, I've given the ability to give an overall discount. I have my net value, my VAT, and my total. At any point, I can press the values button. This summarizes the value of the quotation for me. It gives me the total price, the line discount, the overall discount, the net values, the VAT values, the gross, and the markup. You have the ability with markup there's two methods to calculate markup. The system has both, and you can switch whichever one suits the business on. So I'm going to close that. This quote in particular will now be archived as a quote into SuperOffice automatically once I save it. And I have the ability at the bottom here also to copy quote. A lot of our customers work in the industries where they are quoting possibly in a subcontract manner, where they're quoting somebody who's then quoting the customer. Hence why I mentioned earlier about the master quote and child quote. The copy quotes allow me very quickly, if I've done the quote to one contractor, to copy quote maybe to 3 other contractors. Make some changes, because there's always going to be a preference in most businesses, I'd say, to which contractor you want to win the business. So I might give one contractor slightly more discount, but I'm making sure that my pipeline's real, because I'm making sure that I'm not showing all of those quotes in my pipeline. I'm only showing the ones that I think are going to be the master quote, the main quote. So what I can do also here is process quotation. Process quotation, I won't go into much depth at this moment in time, but that allows me to now take a quote, and I haven't saved this one yet, allows me to take a quote and then to put it into my ERP system ready for processing. So once the customer rings us up and says that I'm happy with that, I'm happy with the price, can we now proceed? I can process quote, which will ask me for the customer's order number, and will produce me, if necessary, a pro forma, which will be sent to the customer for payment, or will place an order onto account within my accounting system, in this particular case Opera, ready to be processed through to delivery, invoice, and payment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this quote. That now gets a quotation number. It prepares the physical quotation to be sent, and it also schedules a follow-up. This is one thing for a lot of people, for me, that gets forgotten. In the setup of the system, it's now scheduling that I'm going to call James on the 25th of the 8th at 10 o'clock to process this order, or to chase my quotation. The quotation number is 39. We see the quote date, any other references. So I'm okay with that. Now it's archiving the quote document, printing it ready to be sent. We can manually send, or we can automatically send to the customer. I personally always like to review the quote just before it goes, and if necessary, make any amends. It's creating the follow-up. So in the CRM system, it's now prompting the person to follow up this quotation, and everything is then ready to send out. So if I switch back into my CRM system, I look in my sales, and I will see that there is a sale here. So I'm just going to go into it, or a potential sale. Some people call it sales, some people call it opportunities. I now have my scheduled phone out to follow this up on the 25th of the 8th, and I have my actual quotation, so I can open that up. This will just take a second, and I can physically view it. It's here as a PDF. This is a very simple format, and it allows me to see the quotation in full with my terms and conditions attached. Now, part of the system also includes the ability to have multiple templates so that you can pick a different template for different product groups. So if you have a product which is a particular brand and you want the quote branding in that way, then you can pick the quote format for each different type of quote. So that allows for flexibility, which a lot of our clients ask for. I can amend the quote. So there you saw earlier I had a new quote, but I have the ability here to double click and open up the quotation itself. So it opens up our quoting module, and this will allow me, for instance, to copy quote or to amend the original quote that I sent to your customer. So this, as you can see, is bringing together the CRM element, so managing your pipeline, managing your customer relationship, with your accounting system, managing your stock, and putting that middle layer in that allows us to quote professionally and quickly, but also then feeding back into the CRM for following up.